Uh-oh. That's a good sound.
Hey, guys.
Who knows what's happening now?
Well. We got a little hiccup in our
What's
giddy up.
going on? Woo! I'm
That's
leaving
all right.
it. I
Technical
don't care.
difficulties are okay. Dude, guys, welcome back to Testing Normal, episode number 30. This is Curtis.
3-0. This is Jordan.
And this is a podcast where we talk about anything and everything we want to.
Yeah. I am so excited for today.
Oh, yeah? Well, why? Jordan, why are you excited for today?
Well, a lot of things. Well, number one, I love you. And
Oh.
I love coming here and talking to you.
Shucks.
And
Thanks, man.
I know.
Love you
people
too,
might
buddy.
think that we hang out all the stinking time.
Mm-hmm.
And some weeks that would be true.
Some weeks.
But for
we
a while, as
haven't-
we've said,
Like this whole summer, basically, we have not
we've
hung out
pretty much, this is where we hang out.
Once
Like, people get to see our conversation right
outside
here.
of
This is it.
Testing Normal.
Right.
Because we've just been so stinking
Well,
busy.
and then you were like on this whole procreation thing, and you know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But and effective,
and
I might
moving.
add.
You're super effective. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
anyway.
yeah. So Jordan and I are excited to hang out with each other once our lives slow down.
Yeah, I have a mountain bike. My
I
brother's in my
know,
garage,
I'm so
ready
excited about that.
to go, man.
I really am pumped for that. But today we have a very exciting guest,
Oh yeah.
and we have the pleasure, nay, the joy, nay, the delight.
No, not nay.
Well, I'm just trying to amp it up each time.
Oh yeah.
Of,
Not just.
of the one and the only Mr. David Drake.
Which is funny because I tried to look him up. I was trying to tag you, and there was another David Drake. Did not look like you at all.
Yes, there is a David Drake. He is
You need to get closer to your mic. Remember?
He is an
There you
author.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he's an author, a science fiction author.
what?
Yeah, I tried to get his website one time because it looked like it wasn't active. I wanted daviddrake.com. And
I thought you were trying to like find more out about him. Like,
No. So I stumbled upon it when I was trying to buy domains for myself. Now I'm an Uber nerd, right? But yeah, and I went to a bookstore. I'm like, this guy can't be legit, and he has many books.
Interesting.
Really?
I have no idea what they're about.
That'd be really interesting if you read them. Here's what would be amazing. First of all, guys, let me just tell you real quick about David Drake. David Drake is a kind of a phenomenon in the world of internet security. Yeah. He protects
The fact that he's letting us keep his face up without blurring it out.
right.
This is a once in a lifetime thing, guys.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool thing. So we're going to dive into the world of internet security a little bit today and just kind of hear David's thoughts about some questions that we might have and get his input. But the thing I was going to say about the David Drake author, it'd be really interesting if his books, David, were about your life.
Whoa.
Oh.
Like each chapter was like from like, a 5-year period of your life. What a mind twist would that be?
Wow. I can't even imagine. It would not be a
What kind of biography would that be? Like, it's like autobiographies if you could do it yourself, right? It'd just be a biography, wouldn't it? But if it's from
Yeah, it'd
the
be a
same
biography.
name,
Yeah.
like
But it's a different person.
It's
Yeah.
very meta. Yeah.
meta-biography.
That would be a great
I don't know what that
name.
means.
I don't know either.
Okay.
But it sounds super cool and
Sounds
like
cool.
it should be a book genre we should make up.
Sure. Yeah, I'm down for it.
Done.
Okay, so let's just go here a little bit of this internet security stuff.
Well, no, let's not jump in that close.
Oh yeah,
Like,
what do you want to jump around for?
Well,
They don't have nothing to talk about.
Yeah,
the rest
what
of
is-
the time.
I
the-
got plenty of other things.
oh, yeah, so many other things, guys. We could be here for hours. We won't be, but we could be. No, just let's get to know him a little bit more.
Okay.
Not just internet.
Yeah, David. So you're where are you originally from, man?
I am originally from Georgia.
Nice.
Technically born in Ohio
Okay.
for a month. Then my parents
For a
moved-
month.
Yeah, my parents moved down on July 4th. I was born on June 4th. So a month after I was born, they said, let's go down, move down to Georgia. My dad's a music or band teacher, was a band teacher, just recently retired. And so, yeah, I grew up in Augusta, known for, we have a tiny little golf course called the Augusta National.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Hashtag the Masters.
One time I heard of it. I work at a place that supplied the grass there for a few years.
And
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Many years.
Our
the grass
work
is beautiful.
went into his homeland. How's that? That's kind of weird, right?
That's crazy.
That is cool.
Yeah. So
Did you ever golf there?
No. The only way that you can golf there, besides being a professional golfer,
That's one
and
way.
a baller and having so much money that you're a member, is you can work there as a caddy or
Okay.
whatnot along the year. And one day out of the year, they allow for you to play the course
If you work there.
if you work there.
Whoa.
So my uncle, so my aunt's husband, I guess technically is my uncle, right? But he just decided to go. I'm going to try and be a caddy. Got a gig over there just because he wanted to go play
Oh, wow.
the
What?
course. Yeah,
Are you a golfer?
I like golf. I don't call myself a golfer because my score does not indicate me being a golfer, but I enjoy going out and swinging and having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I went golfing with David once.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I didn't golf. I drove a cart,
Okay.
and my brother golfed. Well, I don't know if I'd call it golfing.
He
did okay.
He got better through the day.
It was, let's just say, it was like a whole bunch of people with leaf blowers that day were just standing next to the course. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was, where was that? Leavenworth, Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was
I like Leavenworth.
bananas.
Yeah.
But it was super fun, and we had music set up and
Nice.
running around in our carts.
Jordan was in the perfect thing. He'd just be able to make fun of us.
Did you
every single
bring
time.
Yeah, it's
clubs or did you rent some?
We rented.
Yeah, because
Okay.
you were living in Georgia at the time.
Yeah, so I was living in Georgia. I was
Cool.
living in Georgia. So
Nice. And you are let's see, I guess the second brother-in-law in the family.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Right.
yeah, he married one of my sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, David is brother-in-law to Jordan,
Yep.
which is pretty cool.
That's how we know each other.
That's how you guys know each
that's
other.
how I got on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We really
Connections.
got to know each other a lot better driving across the country.
Yes.
You learn a lot about people
Mhm.
on cross country. There was no arguments. I was actually kind of surprised that none of us really even gotten a tiff at all.
I think if we were in one car, it probably would have.
Maybe.
Yeah, like if Josh would have passed gas or something, that probably would have spurned some arguments or something like that. But
yeah.
So more about me. Back to me, right? No,
Yeah. Do it.
So we recently just moved, my wife and family. We just said, you know what, let's try this Oregon thing. So we moved across the country, literally. So was it early July?
So-
Almost
Mid-July?
as far as you can go.
Yeah, almost. It's looking at on a map. We're like,
2 states or 1
this
state
is
away.
crazy.
This is bananas. Yeah.
Yeah, so we just decided, it's kind of in the back of our mind of, we were living in Alpharetta, Georgia, which is a little bit north of Atlanta, and we didn't have any family there, and so my family was a couple hours away, and just, starting to feel disconnected. We had good community, but we just wanted to be closer to family and, have
Sure.
our kids grow up with cousins and things like that. And anyway, so just over the years, and just professionally, I was to a point where I had a job that was accepting of being able to work remotely, and it was just all these things kind of hit at once, and it was just perfect storm. So yeah, we recently just moved here. Gosh,
It was.
I think a month.
yeah, a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And also, so that's the drive that Jordan was referencing. Jordan, I think right after we told Jordan, we sent siblings and stuff a text message and said, "Hey, we're going to be moving to Oregon, so forget about the vacation that we were planning around July 4th. Like
All of our vacation went out the door.
yeah, we're like, we're not going to do that. We're just going to go ahead and move."
Yeah.
And it was just this funny Sunday morning. But and then Jordan, I'm pretty sure like a couple hours after, he's like, "Hey, dude, if schedule work out, I'd love to come help you, and whatever way I can, like drive across or whatever." And I was like,
We were originally going to drive a big truck.
we were.
We would
when we say
probably
we-
still be on the road right now.
Yeah.
If we had done that.
I would have. We definitely would have gotten arguments then, because
Oh, no.
Jordan would have had to have driven the entire time.
I'm actually pretty good at that.
So-
I can go about 48 hours on about 4 hours of sleep.
Crazy.
In Atlanta, Georgia, you started working for a software company?
Yeah, so I kind of worked for a couple companies. I was initially working for a healthcare startup. Left that after I think 6 years, and
You were with them for a while.
Yeah, it was great. I mean,
But you traveled a lot.
I did travel a lot.
Not super conducive to the family.
Yeah, it kind of got hard. I think my last few years there, I'd kind of had more of a dedicated, like not as travel. I was kind of doing some more back end, like architecture, networking type thing, and was able to stay at an office and not travel so much, which was awesome. But just kind of reached this point where professionally it was just not doing well as the organization. So yeah, so then went and worked for a big company called LexisNexis and was doing security work for them. And then now I work for a company, Green Sky. It's a financial technology company, mostly SaaS based product, if you will.
What's SaaS based?
Software as a service. Really, it's just we're kind of a middleman for allowing people to get small loans, like house loans.
Okay.
Replacing windows, things like that. But yeah, so I'm just kind of one of the guys
insecurity for that, for loans, especially. That's like a pretty important concept and
you
role.
You want to keep some of that secure.
That's an important role to have, right? Internet security. So did you have like formal training in internet security prior to starting that position?
So it's interesting. I probably have people get into information security for a number of different reasons, and there's different expertise, and there's so many different I think domain expertises in security, because it's such a vast there's so many different things on that. So I probably had like maybe a non-traditional approach. So my background, I went to school for management information systems, which that was my major. Is under the business program, but more of like a technology focus. So it was sort of like bring technology, mix it with business, and kind of mesh those together. And but I didn't really do that. I kind of went like a different a lot of, you can go be like a consultant, like you can be a consultant that doesn't really know anything, like out of college, and go tell people what to do. I didn't really like that, because I really wanted to know what to do, but and so
BS your way through things.
Exactly. It just wasn't my gig. Didn't feel like I was going to be super great suited for that. But so I kind of just went along and focused more on I think started out like more networking architecture, and as a network engineer, and then worked into like back-end systems administration with like Windows, Linux, and so from a like systems perspective, I've kind of done a lot of different things, essentially been most things except for a software developer. And so
did you have to learn throughout these stages of, you've kind of traveled through different areas of software companies and different security areas, are you like learning all these different like coding platforms like C++ and all these different like and that's not coding, I guess, right?
Yes.
But are you having to learn that stuff?
So I do have to learn it. You kind of pick things up along the way. I was not like a software engineer, had like a background in an actual programmer. In hindsight, I wish I would have done that, because I think it would have suited me professionally a whole lot better. I can kind of pick some things up along the way, and really when I get dedicated time, it's really not hard to learn that kind of stuff, but it's more about focus and where my skill sets lie, and what can I do to best utilize my skills and what I bring to the table to an organization. But so I kind of just pick things up along the way. So like whether it be like bash scripting, which is like for Linux systems, which is a pretty popular thing, just getting things done. But I'm not writing code. I kind of help right now with just making sure the software that goes out is, quote unquote secure, or as secure as can be. So
who makes that software?
So we have, at least my organization, who makes software in general? It's people, right? People, software developers. They are.
But is it like your individual team is making that software?
Yeah. So a lot goes into play of that. Like, there are individuals. I think we probably have a team of 60 software developers. At my company.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Software development's hard. There's one thing, like you're talking about, like writing code. There's a big difference between somebody who generates code and software and someone who goes back and edits that stuff. That generally that's, and I wouldn't say it's easier to do that, but it's a totally different process than people like those people
actually building it from
those
ground
people
up.
are impressive, and I don't know that I could ever like conceptually, because it's almost like being an artist, and the way that they think and the way that they organize data in their heads that like spews out into the code. And you can like, it's like I can go fix a door, but I wouldn't necessarily build the door.
Right. That's a great point.
That's a good analogy.
And so there's a lot of things in life that are like that, but that's how I view software development. I'd love to like go in and tweak things, but building it from scratch, I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to begin. I'm like, and who else has made this?
It's like you have a book that you're wanting to write. Bits and pieces along the way. You're like, okay, by the end, I want it to be like this. I want the ending to be like this. So, but all those pages along the middle, it's blank, right? And you have to make that blank and turn into something.
That's incredible.
It's fascinating. Those guys think on a completely different level than what I do. I am like so unintelligent when you comparison to
Would
them.
you guys say that type of job, like to be that's called a programmer, right? Is that what that would be called, or a coder?
Yeah.
Is there
or developer?
Yeah, so like developer, software developer, programmer,
coder. Is there a difference between programmer and coder? I guess.
Professionally, they wouldn't you wouldn't be called, like, your job title wouldn't be called a coder per se. But
I wish it was, though.
unless you're
It's
working
so
for like
cool.
Docker or something like that, where
Okay.
they may like have fun titles, but generally it's gonna be like
Software programmer.
software developer.
Okay.
And they may have levels of that, like software architecture.
Would you guys say that being a software programmer, or in layman terms, a coder, is one of the most highly valued jobs in the currently? Like, are they the most valuable current profession? And also,
the
are
fastest growing profession right now would be security, probably in the IT realm.
Yeah, it's for sure security is super hot right
because
now.
you got to secure all that stuff that's
Mhm.
going out the door.
right?
And sometimes the developers, that's not necessarily what they're doing.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, there's a huge shift that's been happening. We can thank Amazon, AWS, Amazon Web Services, just this whole like public cloud, or as my
AOL.
wife, as my wife likes to refer
R.I.P.
to the clouds. And,
Oh, I love that.
So there's just been a huge shift over the last, I don't know, what, 10 plus years, maybe less than that. I don't know what year we're in and when it started at the top of my head, but like software developers for sure are, at least in technology perspective, they're going to be the future, because everything is moving to software, right? Think Tesla vehicles,
Right, yeah.
Like literally everything that's going on in there is custom code, programming. They're all these things, bringing separate teams together. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And so like you have to have, I mean, machines can do some things, right? Like there are things where machines can actually, develop, period. I guess they can develop things, right? But like there's still somebody telling people what to do. And that's
Or
where
someone
like,
that taught them what to do.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, this whole machine learning and AI models and things like that. Like you are training that type of thing. And so software development, if you are listening to this podcast and wanting to, not knowing a future, and you like technology or computers or anything like that, do that. Like
If you can. If you got the brain for it, do it.
Yeah, like if you have a math mind, absolutely go for it. I mean, I've been working professionally since 2007 when I graduated. Excuse me. And so what are we at, like 12 years now? And if I could do it all over again, I would go be a software developer. And, I mean, just it's super stable.
Great job security.
You get to work, like if you have one of those minds that is a tinkerer, if you're a problem solver, if you want to take something from start and see it to finish, like it's an amazing job for it.
I want to go into.
Well, hang on. I want to back up a second.
Yeah, I'm going to back up too.
Just so that people understand, like what you said about
It's got geeky
Tesla.
fast.
That's where I was going to go to.
If you think about this for a second, I don't know if people know this, but with Tesla, and maybe this is where you're going, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's even weirder. Every car, pretty much, there's some things that are a little bit different, is the same. But if you buy a Tesla and you didn't order fog lights, they are still installed on the car. And if you can call Tesla and order fog lights, and your car will get a software update and enable them.
Not only fog lights, battery power.
Yep.
Your accessibility to certain automated motions of the car.
Right, but that's software. I'm saying like that's how much the software matters more than the hardware.
Yes.
Right.
It's cheaper for them to put all the hardware in it and disable it in software and enable it later than it is to have to come back and install it again.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to hit on a little bit there, how you were saying, Tesla, these vehicles are mostly, proprietary software. Like that's like the majority of this vehicle is just software.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting because I had a conversation earlier today, and this guy, he was talking about his cousin or something, and she had a Jeep. I think it was a Jeep Cherokee, and it was like a 2016 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And from the period of like 2013 to 2017 or something, Chrysler and Jeep vehicles had a known hack that people were able to access and take control of the shifting of the vehicle. So to go from like drive to neutral to reverse to park, like while you're in the car driving it. So she was driving on the road, and her car all of a sudden started like changing gears and going into drive, reverse,
What?
neutral while she was on the
Yeah.
freaking highway. This
And it
happened
wasn't
one time.
cosmic rays, people.
And it wasn't cosmic rays. No. So she's freaking out, and she
Yeah.
takes it to the dealership. Dealership says, "No, this looks great. Nothing's wrong with it." So she goes back out, drive. Happens again. The next time it happened, though, a highway patrolman pulled her over. Says, "What is going on? Why are you driving them crazy?" And she's like, "Look at my car." And he saw it. It was shifting while she was sitting there. And he's like, "Stop! Just like, don't do anything. Don't do anything." So he calls the tow truck, takes it to the dealership. They give her like a totally different car. But apparently, like, hackers are able to legitimately access your vehicle and
How are
shift
they,
and
okay,
change it.
So how
But
are they connecting to that thing?
somehow, maybe through like maybe
APIs.
there's it must have some internet.
I was going to
access,
say, it's got
yeah.
to be connected to something.
Yeah.
Like, it can't just be out there, you know?
But I'm tying that into Tesla. I'm not hearing about hackers getting into Tesla vehicles and taking them over. So I'm curious, they must have some hyper security enabled.
So
Hopefully.
yeah, so and this is where it gets really interesting. I have a really great Tesla story. Unfortunately, I can't share it because I
shoot.
know we not at least not
Propri-
publicly. Yeah, I had to
proprietary.
sign like an NDA because
Okay.
I was in this
Gotcha.
place. That was a really bad thing to say on a podcast, or like juicy information I can't tell you.
No, that's okay.
But there's, I think there's one crazy story, so I'll
That's
I'll
fair,
maybe
fair story.
shift my mind. But they have
They must have
a
like
very
elite
next level
security.
Yeah, absolutely, they do. And the thing, this is kind of
They're
where it gets.
sending things to space.
Well, but here's the reason why they have to have like elite security. They're sending their crap to China. They're sending those things
Yeah.
to China, which is like the notorious, the worst of the worst for stealing intellectual and property.
Well, like,
you
just to
better
like
believe it.
to rabbit trail just a little bit more. Did
We're going on.
with Tesla. Did you hear what China did with Tesla this week?
No,
Then they like
They exempted it
did they
from
exempt it?
tax.
Why
A 10% purchase tax was waived
Wow.
for Tesla.
alone, not
alone.
other vehicles.
Not other vehicles, Tesla. Now they're putting in like a gigafactory there and all that kind of
That
stuff.
makes sense. Yeah.
So, but the fact that they're doing that for Tesla and they've been working with their government to get taxes not just reduced.
And while we're in a
But
trade war with
eliminated.
them, while we're currently in a trade
Right.
war with China.
So anyway,
Right. So basically,
I'll retract the rabbit trail a little bit back to the previous rabbit trail.
so
yeah, ridiculous security is an interesting thing because from an enterprise perspective, there's so much that goes involved. There's so much that's involved to like having something secure. I mean, there really is. Like there's on the networking side, there's on the systems, there's so many different places where like you need to secure something in order for it to be secure. And this whole word of secure is, I mean, software is written by people. People make mistakes, right? And so just the inherent thing behind it is that there are going to be flaws in systems,
or they don't
because we-
perceive what's coming up.
or it might
how
not be a
people-
mistake,
it could
but
be-
it
it
might
could be a-
be
it could be
something that could be manipulated.
Right.
But it can
what we
even be a
call a bug.
mistake on the hardware you're running on.
Absolutely.
And so your software, there's nothing wrong with software. It's just
Oh,
your
that's
software needs to be
interesting.
patched for the hardware that it's on.
Yep. There's so many interesting implications for this, and so it's like yes, they probably have ridiculous security people that are getting paid bukus of money to
Or
to
bug
do their
bounties.
job. That's what I was going to kind
Google.
of. I was going to come to that. So I have an amazing colleague that works with me, and he was trying to. So Tesla they do have bug bounties where they have authorized places that people go and they try and break into Tesla systems to get control of said vehicle.
What does that mean when authorized places to go? What's that mean?
So okay, they will have, think of it like a convention, or they'll say, all right, guys, like
It's like a test environment.
yeah, like we're gonna hold this meeting or this meeting place where they will go and you can think of this like Black Hat security conference. It's a very similar thing where they'll hold a meeting place where people can come to and say, all right, here's the ground rules. Anything goes. In the grand scheme of
So
things.
is it like
on this
is it
system, it's like not our
closed?
live
Is it a
system.
closed network so that way they're
Generally,
not
yes.
really messing up the
Yes,
company?
Generally,
Okay.
yes. So it's interesting. So
sometimes
sometimes
it's not.
Now,
Yeah.
here's where it gets really interesting. So they
so interesting.
yeah, they have these where you can hold bug bounties. The whole point of a bug bounty in general is companies can post things that they're doing and say, hey, come and find weaknesses, report them to us. We will fix them. We will pay you money for finding those things.
If you show us your exploit.
If you show us your exploit, that's right. If you show us your exploit, and we've validated that it is a thing, and depending on the criticality, you may get different kinds of money. We can probably talk about that. Put some things in the
That's
show notes. There's really interesting things. There's different
like
levels
Apple
of it.
upped theirs to $1 million payout.
Yes.
But with the stipulation is that you have to show the exploit and do it with no user interaction. So not like I send Curtis an email and he goes like, oh, that definitely looks legit, and clicks on something and then it lets me in.
Yep.
There's something for that. But if I can do that with no user interaction, it's $1 million payout right now from Apple.
Yeah.
Like even if it probably has something like the severity of the interaction has to be applicable in there too.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
their criteria for that is that you gain access to their system or their hardware, but without the user doing anything. Like you have put something in place that the user doesn't have to give you access, and if you can get in,
right,
they're saying that's $1 million payout right now.
They call it a RCE, but there's this scale that they're using. It's kind of an industry known scale called the CVSS score, or the last S may be the score portion of it. But there's actually a calculator that they determine what is the most critical, right? And so to Jordan's point, if it is a remote code exploit where it's unauthenticated, you don't really have to do anything crazy to get physical access, it's all remote, you can do it from the comfort of this own couch, and I can hit something and it will do some bad action,
right,
or gain full access.
Or gain full access, or to get root on a system, or whatever
so
the case may be.
The simpler firms, that would be phishing, is what that is basically, right? Like if someone
phishing would be user interaction.
Yeah, and that wouldn't count.
No.
Okay.
I mean there are bounties for that, but that's not the big payout. The big payout's like, dude, you're in China and you've got access to Bill Gates' iPhone.
Right.
Without him doing anything.
From your laptop, just access it, basically.
Yeah.
Trippy.
And there are smart people out there.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure someone will get that.
Yeah, and
now that it's out there, because
exactly,
it didn't used to be to the public, and that's the big deal right now. And that I think you sent us a link, and we'll put it in the show notes to Google. Google made some other stuff public that wasn't always public. They had some stuff that was, but they've started ramping up. Like the Play Store one was one. Did you see? Was it you that sent the link, or was it a link that I saw this week where Google Play said that if an app has had more than 100,000 downloads, it will automatically be in the bug bounty now.
Yeah.
That's a big. So that's
even if it's an app that's in the Google store,
yes,
but not in the iTunes
because
store.
they have approved it.
Right.
Oh,
yeah, because they have automated
interesting.
validation that they're going through. So they have
wow.
And Google,
That's
Google is
interesting.
bananas, right?
That's good insurance for the developers too, though.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really is, because it helps everything, and that's the interesting thing. One of the things that I really love about the security industry right now is that really, in the grand scheme of things, everybody just wants things to get better, right? Like we want things to be more secure, because as this world has turned into literally everything is online, right, and everything is kind of turning into software. It's scary. Like it's scary the amount of information that you have out there, I have out there. Willingly or unwillingly, or knowingly or unknowingly, right? And so it's one of those things, like we
Facebook getting bombed every few seconds.
Yeah, we move so quickly. We move so quickly into this world, and so now there's an aspect of like, man, boy, we got to catch up. We got to catch up to these things, and
the hard part is it's hard to play catch up when you don't know what you're trying to catch up to.
There you go.
Right.
That's the challenge, right? Like I'm a security professional, right? Like this is what I do for a living. I get paid money to secure things in the grand scheme of things, right? But like I don't know everything. I mean, I cannot. Like it's impossible for me to know everything.
What is it going to turn to?
Exactly. Yeah. Like I have very specific skills that I've brought, that I've developed along the way, and I stay a lot of times. I can stay in that zone because I'm really good and I know very specific things are there. But like I legitimately cannot do all the functions of security. It's impossible for me to do that. And so
there's way too many.
And like in our company, we say like security is a responsibility for everyone, for every single person in the organization. Like it is part of your job description that you need to be security minded, right? And it's not like a cop out for our security team in general. It's like it's the reality. Like we as individuals, we need to be security minded because there's so much out there there's so much out there, and the grand scheme of things, like we are a target. Like every single person is a target.
Yeah. It
That's
didn't
so
used to be
crazy.
that way.
No.
You used to be able to say things like, well, it had to be worth it or
Yeah.
something like that.
Dude, so talking about internet security and different things that are changing in the future, it's really crazy to think about the different options for security. And I was listening to John Carmack talk this week. The man.
Have you listened to
the man, the myth, the legend?
You know who John Carmack is, right?
No.
He's
id Software made Quake, Doom.
made Quake and Doom.
I know those.
He works for Oculus.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's
he's kind of a small guy.
he's been
Oh.
he's been through a bit.
Okay. I think I've seen him.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's kind of a goofy dude.
Okay.
He worked with. He was at GameCon a few years ago, and
Okay.
he was working with Gear VR to bring Minecraft to Gear VR. And
But-
he definitely, if you heard him,
He sounds like a coder.
he's a complete nerd, and he embraces it. Although hearing him talk about like
He's super articulate.
taking his troubleshooting mind into other areas to relieve stress, like Ferraris, like he
which is really cool.
fixed up and like turbocharged Ferraris is like a giant no-no in the car world. Like,
Hmm.
don't touch Ferraris because they're a work of art. But he's like, screw that, and turned a 300 and some odd horsepower Ferrari into like 800 or 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah,
or something
1,000.
like
I think it got close to 1,000.
Jeez.
But
Anyway.
anyways, it's crazy in his
that. Now Jess is
in
here.
his conversation, John
Jess.
Carmack, he was saying how he actually is he was asked, how do you feel? Are you excited about this whole quantum computing? And do you feel like this is a really beneficial thing for humanity? And he was like, honestly, I feel like quantum computing, as far as how I understand it, it kind of only can have negative effects at this point in time.
Yeah.
And he's like, basically, the net gain of this is going to be
Nothing.
the inability to provide security
Yeah.
to all of our other computer programs.
Yeah, because the way he explained, he's like, all secure socket layers are toast,
Yeah.
like overnight.
Yes. That's it. Once they're able to break algorithms for, you go to google.com, what you see is a little gear in the address bar, right? And it's like, all right, cool. My communications between the computer or the endpoint that I'm using and Google, this is encrypted, right?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they're able to break those algorithms, like, forget it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so like what that means is that now everybody's probably heard things about like governments, or even just, we'll talk about the government for example, just being able to like monitor literally everything, right?
Right.
So you take that and guess who has all
Or governments.
governments? Yeah, I
Yeah,
shouldn't
so
say just
let's just
ours.
talk like,
That's right.
it's one
Generically.
thing if our country is trying to do it,
Yes.
but it's another thing if another country is monitoring all the traffic for
Correct.
another country.
Correct. Yeah. And so if you're able to break the encryption algorithms, like you're done, because you have no sense of security from what you're doing to where you're trying to
so
go.
So I know that we probably, as soon as someone said quantum, I don't know who that was, I'm sure that everyone went, whoa, what the heck? Well, he started it. So for people out there, like a really quick explanation is like our current processors use ones and zeros, and they go about like they're little light bulbs inside, but there's like trillions of them, and that's how it computes things. Quantum computing takes that to another level, and there's still ones and zeros, but there's an infinite possibility in between in the transistor, if you will. What they're really, really, really good at is breaking down data subsets, and also like David was alluding to, is breaking down algorithms where normally would take hundreds of years for a regular processor to break down. They can do those types of things in like a fraction of the time, and by that I mean like sometimes minutes, sometimes seconds, sometimes they already have it done. It's just, and without getting a lot more complicated than that, the nice thing about quantum computing is that right now you essentially need to have access to a large supply of liquid nitrogen and some other interesting things to even get a quantum processor to work and be stable right now. But with that type of computing alongside of our traditional computing now, which is how it would work, it is in the wrong hands. It would be, I would liken it to like nuclear control.
Yeah.
If a country were to get it.
essentially the race right now isn't necessarily to develop quantum technology for the purpose of
Good.
good, but it's kind of like the purpose of maybe in a way
It's
kind
weaponizing.
of like, yeah,
for
it's
sure.
It's almost like an
weaponizing.
arms war.
Yeah, it's like an arms war. It's like an arms race, and basically it's guaranteed mutual destruction.
The
Right.
danger
In a
is it's
way.
happening behind walls, and a lot of people
Yeah.
don't know it's actually going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, even Google, who I love Google, all things Google. At the same time, they're flipping scary of all the information, right? Like they've even said, we're a little concerned on this, right? Like when somebody that like
That's
literally their
crazy.
business
Yeah.
is knowing data on everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they say they're scared. That's where like
That says something.
It says a lot. Yeah, it says a lot. And it feels like every month, China's like, hey, we got the fastest, workloads now, and US is like, now we do, and China, like it just kind of goes back and forth. And so alluding to like sort of the arms race type thing, it's really our current generation's arms race for sure.
Well, if you think about it, like our wars have gone more and more and more remote, and so war is inevitable. We don't. If you're a sane person, you don't like it, but war is also something that in a crazy.
And what is it good for?
Yeah, what is it good for? In a world that we live in, war it's gonna happen more than likely from time to time. But the wars of the future will no longer. They'll probably contain some tanks and ground warfare a little bit, but it's largely you see these drones like they're weaponizing those things, if that is how wars are happening, the information war behind the scenes is the most important thing right now.
Yeah.
And as we talk about security, like imagine all of a sudden everyone gains security not to someone's random Tesla or Jeep, but now can move satellites, can move drones, can make them take off, can make them just fall into the mountain.
Right.
That's a scary place to be.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there is this term cyber warfare, and it's been happening.
Oh, it's been going on.
Like
we watched it in the last election.
Well, yeah, even more recently, like within the last couple of weeks, there was a story of, I think it was like the oil tankers in like Saudi Arabia or off the coast of Saudi Arabia, and I think it was Iran. It was
Iran.
Okay,
it was.
So there was some issue.
They said they didn't do it.
Yes, and then it was like I think you did. We had evidence that it looked like it was you based on data that they had, and all the things that they're able to monitor. And so what they did is so they also had some ships that were doing things, and they said, and they meaning U.S. We can put this in the show notes for an article, but they said, all right, cool. Like we're gonna basically shut down your ability to use said ships. Like, and so what they did, there
Like
were
through technology wise?
Yeah, so there were vulnerabilities, and this was carried out by the Cyber Command.
Crazy.
And the information on it is a little bit limited. However, it was tagged as saying, like, U.S. shut down, ships, or Iran ships. What? Right, and like this is all remotely.
Just click.
Like vulnerability is what you're talking
Done.
about, and there was some form of software they were able to, get into,
And it's in a
backdoor
different
their way-
language too.
Oh,
Probably.
dude,
Most code is written in English.
Oh, really?
yeah.
Really?
Very, very little is not.
Interesting. I don't know why, but in my head I would have imagined
There's a lot of code languages originating
Middle
here.
Eastern countries would have their own code.
I think it's because the character set is easier. Like that's kind of what I always landed on, because there's other character sets that alphabets that aren't
like-
as simple.
Yeah.
But for our character set and numerical set, and I think because it originated here, everyone who codes just learns those commands in English.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
fascinating.
the output, the strings of text and everything could be a different language, but the actual like hard coded, like that gets compiled down to
Here's
run
a
is
stupid
English.
question. Is coding, is it any more 000111000? Like, do they do zeros and ones anymore with
People
coding?
aren't usually writing that.
No. That's
No.
the machine doing the interpretation.
But it gets
Yeah.
compiled
Yeah.
down for the machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But essentially everything and anything right now is all just boils down
Our
to zero and one.
voices right
right?
now are going across the internet as ones and zeros.
Is there any other symbols?
And that's what modem means. It's modulate and demodulate. That's what it's doing. In the olden days, that you would take that and it would transfer the analog signal to digital and the digital back to analog, and at the other end do the same things, modulating and demodulating.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's A crazy thought. But a funny thing I wanted to bring up real quick is they were talking about technological warfare. There's an article that I saw, and I think we may have brought this up before, but I just wanted they keep bringing up this article about how they're using sound and music, annoying songs, as a form of taking people
like
out
warfare.
Out of parks and around buildings, like homeless people.
Yes.
Like, so there's people that are like living in certain areas of town.
So they did like It's Raining Tacos.
It's raining but the big one, Baby Shark.
Yes.
Baby Shark do 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 Baby Shark do 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 do. Mommy Shark do.
I thought it was
Baby
Shark do 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 do.
No.
Okay.
I know it well.
Okay,
but
that's the way I learned it.
The homeless people are getting so annoyed by these songs that are on constant loop that they're leaving the areas, like the parks that they don't want them to stay in, and the surrounding businesses, like, and so they're kind of like saying, like, all we're doing is we're just playing a song, like we're not we're not even saying anything.
Meanwhile, they have countless 2 and 3-year-olds that are showing up at the park.
They have an overwhelming population
with no parents
of young
just
children
dancing and
flocking to the area. Yeah, so that's a funny type of warfare that doesn't. It's kind of technology, but a little bit different.
Remember the other day when you said you want to just light off an EMP? If that's like a thing.
Yeah,
like light
is
it
that
off.
a thing? Is that a thing? Can someone just get access to? Can you get access to small EMPs?
Well, I mean, technically, yeah.
Like, could you have something that only cover
the best EMP is a nuclear bomb?
You could probably get on Amazon.
I know Amazon it maybe.
You got to be able to. I have no idea.
Yeah,
it's just an interesting concept to me that it's a magnetic wave that's shutting off electronics.
Yeah,
by somehow disrupting the electrical flow.
It melts the connection.
Does it melt it? Is that what it's
some
doing?
of them? Yeah, it's gone. Like, you can't get that thing back.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I'm interested in it, but I think I like that it's a type of weaponized
we just got
mechanism that doesn't kill, that doesn't have direct devastation people. It's interesting, dude.
It does if they're driving a car or in a plane. That's pretty devastating. Just like, oh no, I can handle it not shifting. I can still steer, but if all of a sudden...
That's a massive EMP. I'm saying a 10-foot EMP to just see what it looks like in this room. I know you wouldn't see anything, but
just put something in a microwave that...
It's not as cool that way.
Yeah.
You can't call it EMP.
Yeah.
I don't think it's doing the same thing.
It's waves, I guess.
Have you ever put a CD in a microwave?
No. Have you?
Yeah.
How's it look?
Like a lightning storm. It is done.
I put a fork in a microwave.
So in college, we had a microwave in our dorm room, and my roommate had this grand idea that he was going to burn a CD. Well, he didn't shut it off quick enough, and it lit on fire. And it smelled really bad, and we could not get rid of the smell. And so his solution was to microwave a pumpkin in the microwave for
it's gonna just be like Halloween.
An hour. I mean, this is a computer science dorm room. Like, we're testing things with pumpkins.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What ended up happening?
The result was it smelled like really gross pumpkin.
Yeah.
It didn't solve,
rotted
it
pumpkin.
Solved nothing. It didn't even smell like good pumpkin. It just smelled like burning electronic pumpkin. If that's a thing.
It sounds terrible.
Yeah,
it sounds terrible.
But it gave you a story.
So with all the security talk, and we can go back to the hyper nerdy stuff. I could talk about that all night long. Yeah. But what would you say? Like, people now are probably like, shoot, okay, what do I do? I have kids who have phones. I have Wi-Fi at home.
Yeah.
If they even know what that even is.
How do they protect their data?
My car, what if it shifts? Like, what steps can people take on a real scaled back
question.
level? Because here's what I've learned.
Yeah.
The biggest security holes in any organization is people.
Yeah.
It is definitely the people. Like, the biggest breaches that happen are when someone gets an email and goes,
phishing.
Well, that looks good, and clicks on it, and then bam, the entire email server.
Does just clicking on it
sometimes
often...
It depends on how clever the attack
some
vector
emails
is.
just opening them and letting the Outlook run the HTML that shows the email allows some vulnerability.
Jeez.
Yeah, we are starting to see an increase in talking about phishing a little bit, and I'll come back to answer your question. But we're starting to see an increase across organizations, but even specifically ours, of people using tracking emails. So like essentially, there's something in an email. Like I would send Jordan an email, and in this, there's a little thing in the actual body of the email that actually, not even being clicked on, it can say, cool, Jordan has read this. This is where it came from. Get some of the metadata from his computer, and it's crazy. It's kind of what other companies.
Show me like what email program I was using when I opened it.
Yeah, just
like
a lot of information.
What
right?
would they need? Why would that benefit them to have that?
They know you're live.
Yes, exactly. That's one thing. They say, cool, I just bypassed your email filters. Right.
Okay.
That's one easy way of saying,
Okay,
cool.
that makes
Now,
sense.
now I am not in or trusted, but like I have gotten to the point where something that I've done has gotten to the inbox. Also, you can start seeing like what types of systems they're using, whether it be like Office 365 or insert security vendor, right? And so it's really, really interesting. And I mean, literally, we're seeing like little onesies and twosies, and people just spamming across the globe, any kind of public data that they can get, and then they're using it as the first point to get a data set, and then they're like, I'm starting to be like, all right, well, what's this next attack vector?
Right. Yeah.
Going
What is
to
the
be?
next thing going to be then?
Yeah.
Now they know who to email.
I can come back in a month and maybe tell you, or what. But it's really interesting. I mean, and what's even more clever, like I mean, they're getting very sophisticated. I can send you guys a link and you can post it. But there's a company that does like the state of the fish, which is
That's cool.
Every year they at least publish this report, and some of the details in that is like these attacks are becoming state of the fish.
Is that the website?
I actually like put it in notes, and I meant to send it to you guys. I think it's Proofpoint is the name of the organization.
Proofpoint is a filter for email.
Yes. Yeah, they're an email security gateway, and they do a bunch of different things. They've, I think, been acquired, and they're part of a bigger organization. But, they've essentially said that, attacks are becoming more sophisticated, right? Just even from a phishing standpoint.
State of the Fish report.
Yeah, State of the Fish report.
WombatSecurity.com.
Okay. Okay, cool. They're a phishing education type company, but they're becoming way more sophisticated. They're getting way more targeted. It's really, really interesting, and I know I spend a decent portion of time tweaking and tuning and writing policies and whatnot to block things that are happening in the world right now, and specifically to our organization, to try and help so people don't get these things. And I guess back to your point, sorry, I spend so much time dealing with security for an organization, and so the question for individuals, like for the people that may be listening or watching, one of the best things that you can do just for sheer security is have a good password, and I don't mean just one, right? Like have a good mechanism for passwords. So like if I had to say like good things, get a password manager.
Yep.
I could probably pull up
I
say
just switched over to the one that you recommended, which is
I need to hear about that.
Bitwarden.
Yeah, Bitwarden.
Yeah.
They're great. I've kind of been following them from the start, but there's a number of different.
They have an awesome Chrome extension.
Yeah.
Which if people don't know what that is, it's like it's an easy way to like pull those passwords up that's secure.
Yeah.
Even a Safari extension, which just blew my mind.
They have Safari, Firefox, Chrome, Linux, CLI. You can get really, really geeky. I mean, they have for Internet Explorer. If you guys have ever heard of that,
My fear of using something like that, a password manager, is that like for some reason I stop having access to that software security manager or that password manager.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then it's like, crap, I have 17 passwords to all these different websites, and I have no idea how I'm going to get access to these
What's
anymore.
really cool though is what I did with it is I put it like in a secure note, like they have like a question and answer phrase that you can use with them, because you can't actually reset your password with this company, which is fearful, but also is a lot of respect.
Yeah.
You can't, like, if you forget it, you can't do a forgot password. Like, it's done.
So
that's the state that my wife's in right now. Like, she absolutely does not know. Take a step back, just real quickly. The way these password managers work, it's really just a central place to store your information. You have all of, we probably on average probably have over 200. I'm making this number up, so it's probably more, but we probably have 200 different websites that we've ever put in our email address, right? I mean, it's probably way more than that
nowadays. Yeah.
Now, yeah, exactly. And so the interesting thing is who uses the same password or variety of password for every place they log into. Well, the answer is most people.
Yeah, I would say I did for years.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did for years, and maybe would rotate. But the thing is, it made it difficult across all these different websites to like how secure could you get it? How long could you make your password? And then remembering what website it is. So these password managers, the whole benefit is you have a central place that you store all of your usernames, passwords. But cool things about it is then you can have this what's called like a master password, and that's what Jordan was referring to, that you cannot reset if you do not know it. Your master password is essentially decrypting your account to be able to open up your vault of passwords. Right.
Okay.
So like example for me, I have a master password that's probably 50 characters long. So when I am going to sign in to my password manager, you can have different parameters where you save it for all the time, or anytime you close your browser to kill that session or whatnot. I'm a security guy, so I'm a little paranoid, so I do that. So when I have to type in my master password, somebody standing behind me, like there's no way that they're going to be able to guess or like even get that right. So but 50 characters, I mean, that would take a long time for somebody, even if somebody got that my account and a hashed password of that. Like it's going to take them forever to try and to break that, right? So you unlock this with the master password, and then it opens up your vault, which is perfect. And then in your vault, like that's kind of what I'm getting at is have a unique password to literally everything. Because when I sign up for a new service, I say I put in my credentials, my email address is X, and my password is generate password. I literally couldn't tell you any password that I have except for one.
Which is the vault.
Which is my master password, which is the vault password.
Which is 50.
But here's what's cool.
Memorized 50?
Yeah. But the thing is, and the reason it's 50 is
and
like...
you could put that in a secure note or something like that and store it somewhere.
You could store it somewhere else if you
don't have to have
chose.
a 50.
But no. I think they require you to have at least 24. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on this. But
I think it's actually less than that.
Is it less than that? Okay. Yeah. It's been a long time since I signed up. But the thing with passwords is when you're creating something, it's best, the longer the password, the better. The more unique types of characters, upper, lower numbers, special characters, things like that. So you try and combine all these things in. But the thing is where we can start helping ourselves is like you just type in a phrase. So like...
I really like to eat toast on Sunday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so something that's meaningful for you and mine is meaningful for me, right?
What is it?
It's password 123. And
that was a phishing attack.
Yeah, that was really good. As a side note, I just saw somebody on LinkedIn post today. He was a cybersecurity guy, and he posted on LinkedIn and said, "Hey, you can actually get LinkedIn Premium for free if you put in your password into the comments section."
Oh no!
And
what?
And he was
It's
totally
a joke,
it
right?
was a joke. And then somebody else posted, like took that a little step further and said something along the lines of.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Shoot, it was something like LinkedIn, the company, doesn't allow you to put in your password on comments or any page on there. And so people were like, as a way to, that's cool. That's like whatever.
Funny.
And so they put in a comment. Yeah. And he's like, you'd be surprised at how many comments I've deleted so far.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like
people are like, oh really? Let me see.
A security guy with humor.
Yeah.
Like, you don't meet those super often.
You don't.
So.
You don't. We're a little stuffy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like use a password manager. It's super.
So like
it's
with
super important.
let's say like so with your phone,
give some practical steps,
are you like downloading an app?
Yes.
And then
Bitwarden.
And then
it
that
syncs to your vault, which that's what's nice. So that's
but like how does it work with my MacBook and my iMac? With that?
Beautifully.
You have to download the app onto those.
Yeah, but then they sync over from my phone. I put them all in on my computer. Now
right. So like on my phone has Apple says, do you want to remember this password?
Yeah.
Those passwords go automatically into that.
That's a good point. No, they do not. There are ways to do that. So you can import your passwords to a password manager. Mm-hmm. Apple, in this sense, is that's a great example. That is a password
Manager.
But most
Are they not that secure?
No, Apple generally does a good job. I haven't looked at it in great detail. The thing I don't like about it, it's not necessarily cross-platform, right? So in a Windows world, like I'm not using Safari as a browser, so it's fairly useless.
I've used
to
Apple's to generate a lot of my passwords because they'll generate secure passwords that are very, very similar to Bitwarden. And then what's funny is Bitwarden will pop up and say, do you want to save these credentials?
Yep.
If I'm on Chrome on my MacBook, if I'm on Chrome on my Windows desktop, or if I'm in Safari on my iPad or my phone or whatever, it will pop up and say, do you want to save these?
Yeah.
So, and then it will.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So there is a little bit like for practical steps, and I see where you're going. So it's a little bit hard on the front end. If I had to set up. The setup's easy, but it's the actual practical steps of saying, okay, like now what, right? I have this thing that I can use to store passwords.
It is a little bit daunting.
It's a little daunting. I literally spent an entire day one time just moving over accounts that I knew that I had over to a password manager, and then changing my passwords on all of those sites to be something completely random. Because it started to get to the point, like there's this website called haveibeenpwned.com.
Dude,
that
is a scary place.
Yeah.
I'm sure I have.
If we'll link it, it is it's probably one of my favorite free, which is amazing. It's free.
Yeah.
Services. It's a security guy that basically he's like, man, we're starting to see so many issues, and he has a service that essentially collects all this data from where passwords were leaked out on the web.
Torrent or not torrent, but
sure, they could be there. Dark. They could be dark web. They could just be like from breaches, right? Like Marriott, right? They had over. Love it. Throwback Napster. So like Marriott as an example, like several years ago, I think we were talking about this. Like they had over 350. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They had over 350 million records get
or Experian. The credit checker. I was one of those people that it had to they had to give me free internet or free background checks for like several years.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I actually wrote this down, and because I didn't send you the guys the link, but there was in early January, and this is from this like Have I Been Pwned site, right? 773 million email address and password combinations were somewhere on the dark web. Think of that.
So that's the population of 2 Americas.
Almost a billion?
Almost a billion. And this was one from
I was like,
one collection.
Is that the number I'm thinking?
Yes.
What was it? What data had been taken?
That's just emails.
Email address and password combinations. So what this means.
What?
So take this, right? Like, let's dumb this down. If you've used your password on the same password and your same email address, which most people do, on multiple sites, there's a high chance of probability that your password and email combination is totally owned. And so what that means is that on any service or any site,
freaking me out, man.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna type mine in right now.
Yeah,
what is it?
It's haveibeenpwned.com.
I know I have.
I'm gonna look up too.
I have a.
I guarantee I have.
I have a coworker right now. I'm in a stiff competition with him right now where I'm winning by. When I say winning, I've had my account, my email address would get compromised or been part of a data collection or breach, if you will. I think it was 15 times. I'll do this right now just for fun. We can all do it. Literally all you do on this website is go to haveibeenpwned.com.
Holy crap.
You enter your email address, and this site is pretty trusted. So
wait.
My number.
Wait. Some of these I don't even know.
Exactly. That's the scary part. Like legit.
What?
Wait, what is yours showing? I don't.
Yeah.
Wait,
hold on 1 second.
Wait, what's this look like to you? What's that mean?
Okay, yeah.
So 3, has that been 3
down.
times?
Yeah, so scroll down.
Okay.
And did they give a number up there?
I don't even know who one of this.
No, so
this
says 3 steps to better security. So if you scroll down, so it's funny. They actually say they partner with a password management company, 1Password, which is a major one. It's very good. 1Password.
It is a really good one. It's 1Password is a subscription.
Yes,
that's one thing I like about
Bitwarden.
Bitwarden is that it's open source and it's free.
Yep.
There's a premium service you can get, which is actually a pretty good deal with them. But anyway,
so it's not telling you what you.
So you do if you scroll down, like I have here.
Up at the
Apollo Dub Smash, guys, Dub Smash.
No, those are.
Love it. So if you go all the way to the top where it says "Oh no, pwned," the next sentence says, for me, pwned on 16 breach sites and found.
Oh, I've
no
been
paste.
pwned on 3.
3. So
That's not bad.
that's
Only
not
3.
That's not too bad.
That's surprising.
I was 4.
You
Yeah.
had 4. So 16.
I'm checking my other website
16,
account.
and you are a security dude. So
Right.
why would you have more?
Part of this is
Check this out. My iCloud account,
You guys stop using AOL, man.
not been pwned.
Well done.
Ooh, I'm gonna check my Yahoo account,
Yeah,
which
so-
is something I haven't used in like forever.
So for me, the reason I have so many is because I use, different services for like just testing. Like I'm always curious,
Oh, yeah,
right?
that
So
makes
like
sense.
I hear of something new and I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, that let me go like see what that's about. I mean, that's kind of I'm a geek in that nature, right? So there's things on here. Like one is called 8 Tracks. Literally,
Ooh, I'm gonna see my
don't
wife's.
remember that.
I bet my
right?
wife's is a ton. Let me see.
But it's like an online playlist.
Wait, how is it telling
Company.
you which websites you were?
So if you scroll down,
Okay.
After you put it in, if you
Oh,
say
okay.
like 3 steps to better security, if you scroll down a little bit, it says breaches you were pwned in.
Oh, okay,
And
I
then
got
it
it.
gives the description, and then it tells about the breach, in particular, the company that was involved, where the information came
Dub
from.
Smash.
Mhm.
Dub Smash.
I was Dub Smash too.
Yeah.
So like one that's on here, Dropbox. Anybody ever
Yeah.
heard of it?
Right.
So,
LinkedIn. LinkedIn, of course.
LinkedIn is another one. Last FM, Under Armour. Is anybody?
I
run?
was
Really?
Yeah,
Under
so
Armour.
Map My Fitness, things like that. And so I again, 16, I have quite a few services that I've, but the cool thing, so, while you guys are looking at that, for me, I don't worry about it because I'm to the point now where like every
You know your
website that
password's been changed.
I know my password is different on every site that I've gone to. And so, if my email address and password has been compromised,
Oh my gosh.
what's so easy is I go to that particular site, I generate a new password, I don't
That's
care.
a good idea.
I move along. So
Yeah.
it's really easy.
So
Once-
this is
once
a
you get to
really
that
cool
point.
thing that people could go do.
Absolutely.
And they could say, okay, I know I need to go change my password on
What's
those
cool about this too
sites.
is it
Yes.
says what data was compromised on those
Yes.
sites.
Yeah.
So like this one I just looked up.
It doesn't mean that necessarily yours was.
Well, it says
Just so people are
compromised
really
data
clear.
was email addresses and passwords. The other one was IP address, email address,
So-
and physical address.
So for people listening, they're like,
Yep.
I'm a complete noob. What does this mean?
Yep.
It means that email address, if you haven't changed your password recently, you probably should. And that'd be a good time to start your password manager
Right.
now on that. And then just go to those websites that say that you've been pwned on, which, again, for those of you who aren't gamers, that just means you got owned.
Yeah.
Because gamers like to spell things with numbers and wrong letters.
Lead speak. Yeah.
Lead speak. L33T. So
Tumblr.
that's just a really cool thing that people can go do.
And even cooler on that, you put in your email address and say you get back a report, but you can actually say, email me in the future anytime my address
is
has
awesome.
been compromised. And this is a totally free service and it's amazing. I like this.
That's
I follow this
cool.
guy
You
on
can-
Twitter.
you can-
He's awesome.
You can send him Bitcoin if you really like him.
Yeah. He does really. He's a Australian guy. Does really cool stuff. Just amazing in the security industry. He goes and doesn't talk. So he's really cool guy. But you can go in there and like put in your email address, and you'll get notifications anytime this ever happens. Really very actionable thing. But
interesting.
And it shows down at the bottom, recently added breaches.
yes.
MasterCard priceless specials accounts, XKCD. What?
What's that?
It's a webcomic.
Yeah.
StockX, Cafe Press. Yeah, that's
The
Anime Planet.
This is
my
the
gosh.
crazy thing. Being in this industry, like it seems like every day. It's probably not, but it seems like every day there is a new breach,
Right.
right? And so
Dub Smash is
there's
on
really
their
no way to
largest
stay ahead
breaches.
of it. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, like
Yeah.
with Equifax and all the different breaches along the way, like your information is out there. It is. That's just
Right.
the simple truth of it. And so there's not going to be. I don't think there's going to be a day where we're going to put less information online.
Right.
Right. And so this is one of those things. I guess I would have probably 2 recommendations. One, get a password manager. Start your journey of generating a unique password for every site that you're.
At least for your email address, and then go here
Yeah.
and look at the sites that you definitely need to change now.
Yep. And if you're one of those people that use the same password for everything, it's probably a good idea. If you have one hit on there, it's probably a good idea to just really start
Not doing
that,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
or the next time you sign into Gmail and you're using the same password that it got owned, like change it.
Yeah.
Change it. And you can start
At
working
least
through that.
enable 2-factor.
Yeah, and that was the other thing I was going to say. The second thing, and it's really you can do it in combination with that, is enable 2-factor authentication.
Can you explain 2-factor authentication?
Yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely. So I'll maybe go back a little bit. So
I mean, we know what it is.
yeah. So for
But-
passwords, when it comes to authentication or authorization of services, there's just really a good thing where you should have. There's 3 types: something you know, something you have, and something you are. Right, and these are just so something you know. This would be the equivalent of a password, right? Or if you think like security questions, which I hate, but
they're awful.
But
Because I always answer them different.
yeah, and so something you know.
What
when
car do you
when
want?
log into,
Today? Yesterday?
Who was your best friend? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
one thing that's interesting.
Get depressed answer.
I don't know. I don't have a best friend anymore.
I don't even have a car.
Who was your best childhood
Sorry.
friend?
Something
I didn't
you-
have friends.
What's a friend?
What's your favorite food? I can't have food. Okay, anyway, sorry. Something you know.
So something you know, something you have, and something you are. And something you know is a password, right? So this is sort of your basic, like you go to a website, you create a email address, and you sign in with the password. That's something you know. It's the most basic form of authentication. It works. It's worked in the past. We're starting to get to a point where something you know is not good enough. And so
We've passed that point.
we've definitely passed that point. Yeah. And so they say, like, in general, you need to have at least 2 factors of authentication. So let's move along to something, something you know, something you have. Okay. So something you have
Or had.
have or had, really you needed to be have because this for the most part would be like literally like a physical token. If anybody like works for a company that you in order to get in
like
on
I
a
have
VPN.
Google off.
Yes.
Google off.
So Google Authenticator, this is a token-based service. So when you enable multi-factor authentication on Google, as an example, so
I won't
you
show
set
them
it up. There's
for obvious reasons.
it'll reset in 30 seconds anyway.
It's
But
It's just in my Binance account, guys.
you can set up this token, and there's a really great app called Authy, AUTHY, or Google Authenticator, where it allows you to create these tokens. So essentially, when you sign into a site and you say enable 2-factor authentication, you scan a barcode, QR code rather, and it
That's
connects
how I
it,
have
and
RSA at work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's uniquely tied to your device, if you will, and it's what happens every 30 seconds. This unique token generates. And so what you do, you sign in with your password, something you know, and it says cool, like multi-factor authentication.
Cool.
You're enabled.
I have
so put in your token.
I have this on my Steam account, guys. That's how much I care.
Yeah.
Like my Steam account, when I log into a new device, it pops up and says type in the next code from your Steam auth, and I have a Steam app on my phone, and it pops. For those of you who don't know, that's where games happen. So.
So that's something to do. Or technically, if you get a text message, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that you have, right? So you can put in a text message. You don't need to go all the way to do all a lot of companies will allow you to, or a lot of websites will allow you to enter your phone number as a second factor. It's not the most secure. Totally works. There's been some. Anyway,
there's ways to get around it.
If you're doing multi-factor authentication, it is infinitely more. It's infinitely better than just having a password, right? So 2 is better than 1, right?
Yep.
And then like something that you are, right? Your biometrics. That's kind of it. So like Face ID, fingerprint, things like that you are, and it's unique to you. Obviously, like they've said for fingerprints, it's 1 in X number of million chance of being a duplicate.
But to have that password and fingerprint,
exactly,
like that's not going to happen.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so much. That's good. That makes sense. I think that all these additional steps we're taking for security are important. It does feel a little bit like, even with doing that, it kind of feels like there's a lack of hope as far as security goes. But
that's the human factor,
right?
I think, and there's a lot of companies actually that are doing things really, really well right now to eliminate the need for passwords, because there's things that are better than that. Microsoft's working with a few of them.
And is that like?
And I can't remember what the technology's called, but it's very insane in the background, but it makes it very simple for the user.
Is that like biometrics?
It would. I don't know if it has to do with biometrics as much as it has to do with like an identifier on your computer and stuff like that.
So there's they'll have like a unique certificate that gets stored, like a digital certificate that's encrypted, right?
That'd be amazing.
And it's unique to you.
And it would work across devices. And stuff like that.
Gosh!
Yeah. So actually, Windows 10, their latest build that they've recently started pushing out, dealing away with passwords straight up. Like if you newly download it, install
this.
it. So it's your method for authentication is you create a pin/password, whatever, and then they combine it with either like a Face ID, like a webcam,
This
something
sounds like
that,
the best thing
or
ever.
biometrics or something in order for you to do that. And so like legit, you're not going to have your password that requires you to, especially if you're in an organization, to reset your password every 90 days and every 90 days, which they found to be unsuccessful as far as way, because
totally insecure.
We do every 90 days at work, and it's because I work in IT. It's like every 90 days I'm having to help the same person again. Like, and not just like, I'm not saying only one person is doing it, but it's like
right.
almost every single person we see every 90 days because they're struggling with it because it's not what they do. And I'm not blaming them. It's not like it's stopping them from doing what they need to do in the name of security, but it ends up becoming less secure because then they run out of ideas for passwords because then they can't reuse them and stuff like that. And it just,
you add a number to the end, and that's what it comes to. One of the most commonly business compromised passwords is winter 2019, spring 2019,
really,
summer 2019, fall 2019.
Wow.
And then
how did you know my password?
Hey, just saying, guys. I'm not saying I know anything, but so for the next year, because if you have to do it every 90 days, that generally you can do things like that, or maybe you have to do like winter 2019.
Oh my gosh, you just gave me a great idea for password.
So it's one mechanism.
If you run out of time, it's too soon. It's winter with a capital W.
Yeah.
And then the next 30 days, it's winter with a lowercase w.
Yep.
And then it's winter with 2 V's.
Isn't crazy?
Interesting. I
So-
wouldn't have thought of that.
Passwords are a big thing, especially when you talk about phishing, because that's sort of the a hacker's or somebody's method to get into something.
Just so people know too, phishing is with a PH, and
Yes.
it's like people seeking out. That's a junk email you get.
Yes.
That was going to be my tip to people is when you get those. I had someone the other day that came to me and they said, "Hey, I was going through and I was unsubscribing to all the junk emails I got." And I said, "Oh, don't do that." They're like, "Well, why not?" And I was like, "Well, you just let them all know that you're there.
Oh,
That email is going somewhere." And they're like, "Oh, shoot."
So that unsubscribing usually doesn't work.
If it's a legit company, so say like you subscribe to Testing Normal's newsletter and you say unsubscribe, that's a good button to click on.
But like with Pottery Barn or like
right, that's fine. But if it's a phishing email that's sent to you and it says if you don't want to see this anymore and you've never signed up for something from that company, then click here to unsubscribe. Well, you never subscribed in the first place. Why am I having to unsubscribe?
Yeah.
So if you're clicking on unsubscribe to those, it takes you to a page that looks like you're doing something, but really what you're doing is letting them know you're a human being.
Yeah.
And like he had said before, I gotcha. Like I know that somebody's there. I got into your inbox. I've irritated you enough that you've actually opened this email.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Interesting.
And really just because attacks are getting so critical, and it's not just like on businesses. I mean, really, like these are targeting individuals as well, right? Like just people with Gmail accounts and Hotmail, like it doesn't matter, right? So you are a target, and it's going to happen. And so just you, to go on that, like not everybody can say, I think this is phishing, or I think this is like, I'm not 100% sure, but it's like, have your guard up when you receive something from somebody that you do not know. Have your guard up. Go through a thought process of like, do I know this person? Like, have like just
how well do I know
I've had
this
people
person?
call.
Yeah, I mean,
so like there's we'll get some emails in for people and like, I don't know if this is a real email. It's like, do you know the person? It's like, well, I think.
Yeah.
And like, well, have you tried calling the number to see if they sent it to you? Like, no, I guess I'll do that. And sometimes they call and they didn't. And sometimes they call and they did.
So they opened the email.
Yeah, I mean at that point it was open, but it was like, do I reply to this? Do I
give them my credit card information?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. I've had people do that. They're like, I put in my credit card to get rid of this virus, and did it get rid of it? No.
Yeah.
No, it did not.
Yes.
Yeah, ransomware is a
interesting choice.
Yeah.
That's a whole other.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. It's a whole hospital deal.
Yeah.
They, for some reason, target what doesn't make sense to me, they target, what's it called?
This have you been pwned?
What's it called when you're a non-profitable organization?
Yeah, nonprofit. Yeah.
Nonprofit.
Yeah.
They target nonprofits most of the time, it seems like.
They don't care.
But why wouldn't you target a company that has a lot of profit? Like
I'll-
Target won't
well,
could give you
nonprofits-
more.
I'll
have a
tell, I'll
lot
tell
of
you
money.
why. So I actually jotted this down because I think it's always
And
an
they
interesting
always
thing.
target hospitals.
Yeah. Do you want to know why?
I do.
So I'm going to read this and I'll send a link.
Yeah.
But people are financially motivated for anything, right? Like, people jump jobs because maybe you get more
Sure.
money, right? So everybody has a financial incentive. But bad guys that are trying to do like not so great stuff, right? They're motivated. And so here's kind of a list of like on the dark web or places where your data is available, who can get the most money or what type of data gets the most money. So think of this: Social Security number, and this was a study like last year, within last year, so a
Yeah.
pretty recent study. Social Security number, $2 to $25, but on average $2.
That's how much it sells. Like if somebody
Yes.
wants your Social
So
Security
if
number.
I have your Social Security number and I can sell it to somebody, $2.
That's not as much as I thought.
Not as much as you thought. Exactly. Driver's license, 10 to 20, right? 'Cause
Whoa,
you
that's
can-
more.
Yeah, it is.
Why would they want the driver's
Because
license
you
for?
can then use that information to potentially create like a duplicate.
Oh.
Yeah. I was actually a little shocked on that one, and I started reading like what are the I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I
Makes
could
sense.
kind of get that. Credit card number,
Sure.
10 to 20.
That's it.
I know.
Because people check their credit cards.
People
quick.
check it, and credit card companies are doing a really good job of detection of anomaly detection, stuff like that. Bank information, just straight up like routing. Yeah,
That's
$15 to
gotta be-
$25.
That's it.
Health records, 10 to 1,000.
What?
Right.
Why? Why health records? Do you know?
So because there's so much personal, PII,
Yeah.
personal identifiable information in the health
Oh,
record.
yeah.
So if you, if you're
God.
like
Things you know.
think of this, right? Say if you're, I'll go the most extreme example. If you're an executive, you make crazy amount of money, right? And if somebody gets access to your health record, to your personal health record, and says that it shows that you've been to the doctor 4 times in the last 2 months, specifically to
Treat your chlamydia.
right. So, or like
Then you have leverage.
yeah, that's exactly cancer or whatever. So like you're a little bit more vulnerable, right? I mean, it's just it's the psyche behind it. So like
Oh my
based on the
gosh.
information. So like they could basically be like, hey, I have your information. I mean, they could use it to, sell, compromise, do other things with it. But like,
Right.
there's also some, like, if you're a high level person, like, I mean, just think of our president or like anybody in quote unquote power, how exposed they are.
Right.
And how big
Oh,
of a
yeah.
target. So
Totally.
we in our company do a lot of like, threat attribution, like who's really trying to attack our company. We're a financial tech company. Who, like, what's the incentive for somebody to do it? Well, to make some money, right? So they would love to get all of our, customer information and, may have some proprietary information, right? So they would love to get that, but it's not like nation state governments like China, the state, like the actual country of China is not trying to get our information.
But if you got, if you got like, say someone's million list of socials with driver's license numbers, that's potentially a big payout, right?
Exactly, and these are just one thing. So if you're able to get, just think of that breach I told
combo.
you. If you can combo some of these on top of one another,
Yeah,
oh man, you can make some killer money.
it's like 12 to
Don't go into this.
$100
Well, you
bonus,
can
people,
open your own
but
bank account then. You can open
Yeah.
your own thing.
Yeah.
You
Right.
can open your own credit card account.
It's crazy how much fraud happens, like just in general. I mean,
yeah.
it's now, working for a financial technology company, I was floored at how much fraud happens or fraud attempts
Within the
happen.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not a big guy by any means, right? I mean,
Right.
I guess technically we're publicly traded, but like we're not, right? But Capital One recently just had a really big.
I was looking
data
at
lake.
this
I mean,
this
Oh,
link
wow.
that you sent us, the world's biggest data breaches and hacks.
oh yeah.
Like just
I don't know
scrolling
if you
through.
could- I don't know if you could share your
I don't know
screen.
why
Yeah,
that I can, but that's our notes. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, it's because I'm not sharing my screen right now. That's why. See if it shows up now.
There you go.
yeah.
Sweet. Oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. Okay. So
The site's a little bit out of date as far as the amount of data, but
right, but like we were looking at Dub Smash, 162 million. Quest Diagnostics,
right.
like nobody goes there, right?
You ever had a new job? Yeah, exactly.
Armor Games, Capital One, My Heritage, Newegg. Well, I did
Yeah.
Newegg. That's kind
And
of
the bigger the circle, the bigger number
Yeah.
of records.
Dub Smash,
right?
was that an app?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, Chatterbox.
What's MongoDB?
They're a database company.
My
A
my
database
yeah.
company. Great.
my
Yeah.
biggest question was, who is Breed Ready? Like, what are they trying to sell?
That's interesting.
A Dutch researcher looking for open databases in China found a database containing the personal information of more than 1.8 million women. What? That's an app?
How about that?
Just
Yeah.
don't
See,
sign
and,
up for that.
and that's 1.8 million people that put their information
Marriott
online.
hotels.
right?
Twitter,
Yeah.
330
Yes,
million. MyFitnessPal, 150 million.
Yeah.
Equifax, 143.
Dude, this just makes me feel like I need to be Ron Swanson. And I need to
Yeah,
just,
go,
like,
go off the grid.
how does this computer know what I want?
Yeah,
What is this?
I want
Yeah.
that GIF.
Yeah.
Him just smashing his phone and throwing the computer in the garbage. Like, Ron, that's not how it works.
Yeah, I don't
and,
know.
and that's the hard part, man. I mean, there's no magic answer that just solves this, right?
Right.
Like, it's not gonna get taken away. As we are a more digital world, or in a more digital world, these things are going to happen. They're going to continue to happen.
I think the answer is, I don't know why there's not more active bioidentifier measures. Like, that just seems like the best
Mostly it's just tech limited at
method.
this point.
Like,
I mean,
everything should be either eye or facial recognition or thumbprint. Like,
Yeah.
why not? Why not just every single thing? Like, it could be such a simple thing, a USB connector onto a
thumb.
laptop, or automatically all built in. You know,
Yeah.
like, that should be a standard for across devices, and that just be
That would
that's
solve. That's the argument
most of the
that
issue.
I have for a lot of people. Are like, even if you put your passwords like in a secure note on your phone, remember the FBI sued Apple to try to get into a phone. Like, they couldn't do it. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't succeed.
Mhm.
So that, even in and of itself, the most secure device that everyone's walking around with is their phone. The most insecure device is the person, and not being mindful of what they do.
Yeah. Eventually, the FBI did hack into it, though, right? I think they got a company in India or something like that.
They
to
did with
get
a
into
black
it.
box,
Yeah.
but that's been since like
Yeah, Apple,
fixed.
it's cat and mouse game. I mean, and that's just it, right? So there's always going to be there are always going to be vulnerabilities,
Yeah.
weaknesses, bugs, exploits, things like that, and it's going to happen. Even just this past week, Apple has been known as the most secure mobile
Right.
device operating system.
and that's
No, I think Huawei was.
yeah.
Bazinga. No, that's good. But Apple in the last week, Jordan, two weeks. Like
yeah, I read it on Engadget or TechCrunch or something
Mhm.
like that.
There was something where basically, I think it was like China sponsored something, but like if
just a
specific-
website you go to.
a specific websites that you go to, they literally would have a multi-stage exploit go on, and it would be able to essentially have all
access
information
to your
on your
phone.
device remotely.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they've since
forgot to
patched
send
it.
you this link.
So if you
Yes.
haven't updated your iPhone in a while, I believe it's 12.4.1
Yep.
or something like that patches that security hole.
But
Do it.
and
Do
that,
it, do
and,
it, do
and
it.
that's just it. So the other thing is like when you get a pop-up saying like your software's need to update your software. When you update software, it can introduce new weaknesses. It's because unknown. But
it's usually
a lot of times when you read the what they call like changelog or release notes or whatever, like it's generally these days for security related
Right.
fixes or things like that. So that's another
That's
recommendation.
crazy.
But it's hard, guys. I mean, this is it's why security is like Jordan alluded to, it's a crazy business right now
Yeah.
to be in.
But it's a lot of job security in it also because
yeah.
you need it.
It's also
Yeah.
not to be like the Debbie Downer in this conversation. It's one of the most like left because of the stress, depending on where people work. I think speaking generality, because a lot of security is
Just the
very
burnout.
high stress and
Yeah.
very constantly going. It is one of the ones where people burn out within like 4 years.
Yeah.
And go on to something else.
And now it's getting scarier too, where some of these like really high level breaches. So you have executives, CEOs, CIOs,
Yeah.
chief information security officers. Like they're actually having to appear in front of Congress.
Yeah.
Because of a breach that happened, right? So like you talk about the stress. Like if my company gets owned, like I'm not gonna have to go up there. Like I'm a worker bee, right? Like I don't have to go speak in front of Congress. I'm probably gonna lose my job, right? Because there's just sort of but like people are actually having to be in front of Congress, and if you have a breach, you're pretty much losing your job. Like, I mean,
Really?
like if you're an executive,
If you're an
and
executive.
if you're an executive, at my level, not necessarily, but like I will have to be show all the things that, I mean, at the same thing. Like if my company got breached, I'd be like, oh, dang it! Like I don't want to be part of that regime that like was pwned
Breached.
or whatever, right?
Right.
So it's like that. But like
What does pwned stand for?
owned.
It means owned. It's spelled wrong.
Yeah.
It's a gamer.
I feel like it's an acronym
gamer
for
term.
something.
It's not.
Oh, okay. I mean, I've said it before, but I've never thought like, what does pwned stand for?
Yeah.
Like incel stands for something,
short.
involuntary celibate, but pwned.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can fact check it.
Yeah, we could fact check that.
It's really funny how gamer terms have turned up in so
Yeah.
many things like that. It's just because all nerds are essentially the same.
I feel like this was maybe your most depressing podcast. I'm
No.
not
I think
really
it's.
sure.
I think it's interesting. I think if
Fascinating.
people get
Every now and
anything out about it,
Zero depressing.
the simplicity
completely
of
fascinating.
don't make your passwords the same across, especially from your email to your bank accounts or
Yeah.
something. That's what's funny to me is that most banks for a long time were the holdouts that didn't allow you to do complex passwords.
Mhm.
They were like, no, sorry, you can't do more than 8 characters.
Yep.
Also, no caps. Also, no special characters.
Yeah.
Also, only names. Also, only names of your first child. It's like, what is going on with you people?
Also, only your first and last name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually was recently going to book some travel somewhere, and I was logging into Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
And I've written them about this. Their password is a PIN, and the PIN is 4 characters, like maximum.
For what? For what?
For Holiday Inn to go log in.
Oh my
I wanted to go book, a hotel where I was going out of town or whatever, and I logged in. And I was like I literally know none of my passwords, so I clicked on my Bitwarden sign in. No, I was going to sign in because I already had an account, and it came up and it was like 4 little asterisks. I'm like, that can't be right. I went and looked at my password. I'm like, 4 characters. What? Like, and then so I started looking. I'm like, hold on, let me go and reset, and it's like create a PIN. And I'm like, Holiday Inn. What? Like this is a major. I mean, I actually had a buddy of mine. He had all of his points taken from him out of his account because look, think of how easy. I mean,
Is this 4?
It's 4 digits. Like
That can't be
that's
that many.
that's so easy to crack. And so like that somebody like guessed his little 4-digit PIN, booked some hotels. They used his points.
It's just
and
4 to the 10th power, right?
yeah, it's
Or no.
no for the like to actually crack it.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you right now. There's
not that many.
Yeah, and especially if they don't have any method on their website to prevent what's called like brute force password attempts. So like
Right.
if it doesn't lock you out after X number of attempts,
Oh, yeah.
like you can literally go through and
10 to the fourth.
run a program, and it's going to attempt to authenticate, and it machines
Just goes
speed.
it quick. Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, but that's like a major website
That's
that's
a
still doing
script.
like crappy
You
stuff.
just write a script
Yeah.
to do that for you.
So basically, all you need to know is their login username.
Their email address, which has probably been compromised.
Yeah.
All
you need to do is make up a user. Basically, you could make up a password or an email address because most people have probably stayed at Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
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 Trippy. My gosh.
Yeah.
Dude, that's interesting. That's crazy. I feel like I learned a lot of good stuff. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
What is it? So like real quick, if you were to say like someone comes up to you in like 30 seconds and they said, "What's a typical day look like for you?" Because honestly, like I would love to come spend a day and see what you do, and maybe someday, if you'd let me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I won't look at or try to memorize your 50-character password.
Yeah.
But
what does that look like?
what does that look like again? What was that?
What did I say? Password
Password 1, 2, 3.
Something like that. Yeah.
But what is it like in a 30-second glimpse? What does a typical day look like for a guy in security working from his top floor of his house?
So I'll preface this by saying there's a bunch of different expertise.
Yeah.
So I'm what we call like more on the blue team side. So I'm on the defense side of things. So
Okay.
I try and put in controls to help prevent things from happening. So I'm not looking at application weaknesses. I'm looking at how to protect against those things based on what we have. So a normal day for me is going to write different alerting mechanisms for things that are happening, right? So we get like threat intelligence, things that happen. So we try and really, I guess I'll dumb it down. My job is to leverage our security tools that we have implemented, and I would be one of the people that would be implementing new tools, new capabilities, and I would be trying to leverage those to their fullest capabilities. So whether it be like writing scripts to be able to help automate something, or deploy, if we're starting to see like a particular phishing campaign that's going on, to write some actual policy to guard against that in whatever tools. There's also a lot of like admin overhead. So like I have systems that, need a little bit of upkeep and just, day-to-day management, things like that. My day is, I can bounce around between 20 different things in a day sometimes, based on
and you have meetings probably.
Yeah, I do have meetings. Yeah, so I'll probably sit on at least an hour of meetings a day, depending on what the day is. I work a lot with do a lot with like vendor management. So a lot of those platforms that we're using, I'm kind of like a central point of contact where I'll have a weekly meetings like, hey, here's what we're experiencing, or we're trying to do something. How can I do this better? This is what we're seeing. So just really like leveraging tools and capabilities that we have, making them better, deploying new solutions based on gaps that we identify in our company that we need to protect against. Writing alerting mechanism where something does happen, if we're starting to see something, where if something happens that we'll get alerted and we can go and respond to. So it's sort of like half defense, half proactive, blocking and things like that. So yeah, it's interesting. I love it. I mean, this is probably been my favorite job I've ever had.
That's awesome, dude.
At this particular company. I mean, it's awesome. It keeps my brain busy. I'm definitely busy. I don't really have downtime, which is even better. And I get to learn. I mean, dude, I have just such a sweet gig, and for me too, like I've kind of been in the business a little bit, so I get to we have this like apprentice program, which is awesome. We have like, I think 1, 2, 3. I think there's like 3 apprentice security engineers on our team.
Is that how you started?
No, I kind of been I kind of did a bunch of different things, and then so I had dabbled into security based on what other roles I was doing, and then I finally scored a gig where I could like dedicate, this is my actual role of security, instead of like 10% of the time.
Right.
And so that was kind of like a big deal. So since now security is sort of like dedicated time, I help coach, people that are new to the industry, or, that are just coming out of college, and kind of train them up and, to, increase their skills, and
that's awesome.
To look things for. So yeah, that's kind of it. That was longer than 30 seconds.
No,
that's cool.
That was really interesting, because I had zero idea what that would look like also.
What have you done?
What have you realize what you've done? Dude, I don't have a ton of shower thoughts, man. I got a couple, but you want to go just a couple? You want to hit them all? How you feeling?
Oh, you can steal mine. You always steal mine.
Nah, yeah, no.
Yes, you do.
I got a couple, but
here's my first one. And if at any point here, David, you're like, hey, I forgot to say this, then just we can pause shower thoughts for a second.
No, we're good.
If you curse in Morse code, it can't be censored because it's already a bunch of bleeps.
True. I like that. Almost all of history has been completely forgotten. It's kind of a crazy thought.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's deep.
That is deep, right?
Wow.
I love that. It's sad, but
the brain of a human is a complex and dynamic computer, and the AI that resides in it is so advanced yet flawed that it itself cannot yet understand itself, so it builds slightly dumber machines and computers to try to understand itself.
That's true.
That's like a deep shower thought.
That is.
It's like, oh my gosh, that's depressing.
So we're extremely lucky that drugs, in the most part, make people lose weight instead of gain weight. Can you imagine having 250-pound crackheads would rule society?
Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh. They say, speaking of drugs, they say money can't buy happiness, but antidepressants sure aren't free.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Buying erasers is literally paying for your mistakes.
That's great.
Yes. Here's a depressing one to think about for a second. The only way school shootings will be solved is if someone can figure out how to profit off of it not happening.
Oh. Ouch.
Interesting.
That's
It's a
sizes us up as a
sad one.
society.
Yeah.
At some point, someone decided to add crushed rock to their meal, and now we have salt. Right?
Okay, I read this at first and I was like, that's not very good. But if you think about this, like just what society would look like, it's kind of fascinating. If self-driving cars become widespread, there's no reason for cars to still have a front and a back. If traffic is completely obstructed, all the cars can immediately reverse direction and drive in an orderly fashion to the nearest detour.
Yeah. Or sideways, maybe.
Or sideways.
Yeah. Yeah, and that would actually get rid of traffic jams because they all would be able to figure out the appropriate distance and speed.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
It would be like a train.
Yeah, it'd be like a train. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's see if there's any other ones here.
Here, I have a really good
What
one
do you
for
got?
our podcast. Tolerance requires understanding, so people hate because it's simpler.
That's deep too.
Think about that next time you get angry.
That's interesting. The word quiet is often said very loud.
Quiet!
Definitely in my house today.
Yeah, right.
Oh, jeez. Oh. Oh, no matter how talented you are, you will most likely need to know the right people to truly succeed.
Yep. Yeah. This is a shower thought that I've actually had several times.
Yeah? In the
but-
shower?
No, I mean, I've just had it in different locations. I've had it while I was in the
Alright.
shower, at work, hanging out with friends, whatever. It was a grocery store.
Oh, please tell.
Um,
I hope it's the one I'm thinking of.
I'm sure it is.
Okay, good.
We only smell disgusting things like poo and vomit after they leave our body. But can you imagine how bad the inside of our bodies must smell?
Super true.
Mostly inside of our intestinal
I
tract.
actually put that in there for you to read.
Yeah. It's basically our GI tract.
I was at a really nice dinner one time with Curtis sitting next to me. And there's all these people, and
Like,
they're like gathered
Kind of
for
like well-off people. some of
gathered
them.
for a good cause, and there's
We're
nice
gonna give
food
our money to
and
these people.
and it's like donating, and people are just being generous and everything. He looks right at me and he goes, "How much poop do you think is in this room?" And
Since we're on the subject.
since we're on the subject, and the weight of poop inside of people right now. How much do you think
yeah,
it
it is an interesting thought. Like some people, I've thought, when
It's
I'm in
an
this
interesting
room,
thought. It's not an interesting question at dinner.
yeah, but I'm in this room with all these people, and it's like, could I fill up like like a semi truck trailer full of crap with this room, or like. But then also then there's a lot of thoughts that can stem from that. Like, how much money is in this room? Do all these people combined create $1 billion? Like,
If
where,
we all
where am I
peed
at?
into a barrel, how full would it get?
Right. Yeah. Or how much gas do we have in this room all at once?
Yeah. How much methane is
how
represented
much
here?
methane is excreted in this room right now? How many people are constantly farting at this exact second in this room? Right? That's an interesting thought. I don't know.
Medical professionals. You
Oh,
guys,
Shower
you
thoughts,
guys-
man.
you
Shower
guys are
thoughts.
jacked up.
Dude, David, thanks so much for coming
Yeah.
on, bro.
Yeah,
It was
thanks for having me.
It was an honor and pleasure to hear internet security information.
Cool.
Yeah,
And,
I love it.
Dude, this was episode number 30, Jordan.
3-0.
3-0. Loving it. Good things, all good things. Well, guys, if you like us, let us know on
Can I have that,
YouTube, Facebook, our website.
Yeah, and let us know if you liked it on
Accessinormal.com.
Facebook.
Yeah. We're transitioning back maybe to just streaming on Facebook now. We're going to see how that works, and then we'll make decisions
We felt
in the
like
future.
people liked to comment more.
It was a little easier for people to access on Facebook.
We're still going to post it to YouTube if you want to go watch it later.
Yeah. But yeah,
All that kinda good
let
stuff,
us know
but-
what you like. Let us know what you don't like. We appreciate y'all, and hope y'all have a freaking fantastic week.
Yeah. Thanks,
Awesome.
David. You
Yeah,
get a button
thanks
and a
for having me.
sticker.
Yeah, you get
Sweet.
a button and a sticker. We'll hook
Right
you
here.
up with one.
Nice.
All right, guys. Peace out.
See ya.